All right, let's talk about one of the biggest decisions you're going to make for your Amazon business. We're talking FBA Wholesale versus FBA Private Label. This single choice pretty much sets the stage for everything that follows, so let's really dig in and figure out which path is the right one for you.
So you're pumped, you're ready to start selling on Amazon, but you hit a wall, a really big one. And it's a huge decision because if you choose wrong, we're talking thousands of dollars down the drain, months of your life wasted, and maybe even a garage full of products you just can't sell. So how do you nail this from day one?
Okay, let's look at the numbers for a second. According to Jungle Scout, yeah, private label is the big dog. Over half of all sellers are doing it. But look at that 26% for wholesale. That's not a small number. It tells you that even with all the hype around creating your own brand, a huge chunk of successful sellers are absolutely crushing it with the wholesale model.
So here's how we're going to break this all down. First, we'll talk about why this is such a big deal. Then we'll dive into Path 1, FBA Wholesale. And after that, Path 2, FBA Private Label. Then we'll put them head-to-head, give you a framework for making your choice, and wrap it all up with the final takeaway.
Let's be real. You've probably seen a ton of conflicting advice online, right? Everybody's got an opinion. But what works for some YouTube guru might be a complete train wreck for your wallet, your skill set, or your long-term vision. That's why getting this right from the get-go is just absolutely crucial.
So what's the big difference, really? When you boil it all down, it's actually super simple. Are you going to resell brands that people already know and love? Or are you going to create your very own brand from scratch? That one choice right there changes the entire game.
All right, let's dive into path number 1, FBA Wholesale. Think of this as the business of being a distributor for products that are already proven winners in the market.
So what does this actually look like? Well, with wholesale, your job is to find an authorized supplier for a well-known brand, buy their stuff in bulk, and then you just hop onto the existing Amazon page for that exact product and start selling. You're not the creator, you're the supplier.
The beauty of this is you are not reinventing the wheel. You find an official distributor, you list your inventory on a product page that's already buzzing with customers, and your main job is to compete for that all-important buy box, the big add to cart button. And get this, you can be live and selling in under 30 days with almost no marketing budget required.
Let me give you a super clear example. Imagine you land a deal to buy 200 units of, say, CeraVe moisturizing cream. People are already on Amazon searching for that exact product every single day. All you do is ship your inventory to an FBA warehouse, and boom, your name pops up as one of the sellers on that page. It's pure supply and demand. All right, now let's flip the script completely and talk about path number 2, FBA Private Label. If wholesale is about reselling, private label is all about creating. This is where you become the entrepreneur, building something from the ground up that's entirely yours. Here, you are the boss. You're the brand owner. You find a generic, unbranded product from a manufacturer, and then you work your magic. You design a logo, you create awesome packaging, you come up with a cool brand name, and you launch a totally new product on Amazon that only you can sell. The name of the game here is control. Total control. You own the brand, so you set the price. You design the product page. You run the marketing campaigns. But you know what they say, with great power comes great responsibility. You have to do all the heavy lifting on marketing, and it takes longer to get off the ground. We're talking 1 to 3 months easy. So, picture this. You're on a site like Alibaba, and you find a really solid, generic wireless phone charger. Instead of just selling it as is, you dream up a brand called, Volt Charge. You design a sleek logo, get some cool custom packaging made, and boom, you launch it on Amazon with professional photos and a killer description, building that brand's reputation from square one. All right, so we've got a handle on both models. Now for the fun part. Let's put them in the ring head-to-head. We're going to get into the real nitty-gritty here. We're talking costs, risks, and of course, the potential rewards. Let's talk money first, profit margins. And wow, this is where you see a massive difference. With wholesale, you can expect a respectable 10 to 20% margin. Pretty good. But with private label, since you're the only seller and you set the price, those margins can explode. We're talking 25, 30, even up to 50% or more. You get to keep so much more of the pie. Of course, those juicy margins don't come for free. You've got to look at the startup costs. Wholesale is almost always cheaper to get into. You're basically just buying inventory. But for private label, well, you've got to pay for the branding, that slick packaging, professional photos, and a big marketing blast to get things going. It's the classic risk-reward scenario. So let's just break it down side by side.
On the wholesale side, you don't own the brand, but you get a super fast start with very little marketing and way less risk. On the private label side, you do own the brand, but it's a slower start, needs a ton of marketing, and it's definitely riskier. But, and this is the big one, the potential to scale, to grow into something huge is just on another level.
Okay, that's a lot of info. So how in the world do you actually make a choice? Let's walk through a simple 3-step framework to figure out which path is truly the right one for you.
It really just boils down to asking yourself 3 honest questions. Number 1, what's your budget really? A few grand or closer to 10 grand or more? Number 2, how much time can you actually dedicate to this? And number 3, what's the end game? Are you chasing quick profits or building a sellable asset? Be honest, and the answer will start to become clear.
And look, here's the simplest way I can put it. If you want to get cash flowing fast with as little risk as possible, go with FBA Wholesale. It's a no-brainer. But if your dream is to build a real brand, an asset you could sell for a big payday down the road, then FBA Private Label is where you need to be. Okay, let's bring it all home with the final takeaway. When you get right down to it, this whole decision is about understanding one fundamental trade-off.
And here's something really important to remember. This doesn't have to be a forever decision. In fact, a ton of really successful sellers play the long game. They start with wholesale. Why? Because it's like getting paid to learn. They master the Amazon system, build up their cash reserves, and then they take all that knowledge and capital and roll it into launching their own private label brand.
So really, the final question I want to leave you with is this. What are you trying to build? Are you building a cash machine, something that reliably churns out profits by reselling other people's stuff? Or are you building a business asset, a brand with real long-term value that you can call your own and maybe even sell one day?
Look, at StarterX, we've launched successful Amazon stores using both of these strategies. We know them inside and out. So if you're still feeling a bit stuck, or you just want an expert opinion on your specific situation, go ahead and book a free consultation call with us. There's absolutely no pressure, just a chance to talk to an e-commerce expert and find the path that's right for you.